All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us. Ron Futrell from Channel 8 in studio, as well as Chris Wynn. And Chris Wynn, you're a Detroit guy, aren't you? Yeah, you are. You are a Detroit guy. That's what I thought. So the man we have with us in studio, I think he's my favorite casino owner. Is it fair to say that, JD? Because I don't want to anger some of these other guys in town. But
Michael Gaughan's pretty high up. Come on, you got to go Michael Gahn. I like Kenny Epstein.
That's right.
We can go down the list.
Well, this guy,
there's some great casino owners here in town.
What this guy has done in turning what was, for lack of a better term, Derek Stevens, I'm not going to call Fitzgerald's, when it was Fitzgerald's, a dump, but let's just call it for what it was. It was a dump, okay? You turned Fitzgerald's into the D, which is one of my favorite casinos in Las Vegas. It is a hot spot downtown. I don't know how you did it, but you did it. And when people ask you, how did you do it, Derek? Well, first of all, thank you so much for coming in studio. Let me just say that.
Well, it's great to be here, guys. I appreciate the invite, and glad to be here.
Before I get to the D and all the great things that are going on, I have to talk to you first about the Vegas Golden Knights. I know you're a huge Vegas Golden Knights fan. You wear your gold jacket right behind. I'm so jealous, by the way, because you're always right behind the glass. You have the best seat in town, right? Just from a money standpoint, what did that blown call cost the owner of the Knights, Las Vegas, casinos around that area? I mean, you're the guy to ask that question, right? I mean, we all know it was a blown call. We all know that Vegas would be playing Colorado right now. Who knows what would have happened, right? But we would have seen 2 or 3 more games. What did that cost Bill Foley and the city of Las Vegas?
With regard to Bill, I can't answer that question, but clearly, it impacted Las Vegas dramatically. And what I mean by that is we would have certainly had a whole nother weekend of Colorado fans coming in. It impacted hotel rooms. It impacted hotel room nights. It impacted everybody that's a bartender or in the food service industry here in Vegas. It clearly impacted McCarran Airport. Yeah. It impacted people driving in. Impacted MGM. T-Mobile Arena, the way the Golden Knights are set up is they've got rights on the arena, and there's a few nights that they get blocked out, and I think we saw that on round 1 when there was a game that normally would have been held on a Saturday, but there was an event booked, so it got moved to Sunday. There's only so many of those blackout dates that can be put on the schedule in April and May. So you've got T-Mobile Arena that's really underutilized. So it impacts AEG, MGM. I mean, it was something. Now 2 years ago, Golden Knights weren't here, so we didn't know what we're missing. And then after the first year, everybody saw, oh my, look at this. This is really something. And then you get to year 2 and you've got extreme disappointment.
Now you have those great viewing parties downtown, right? And you own that property right there, right across the street from the D. So I would imagine were you there watching that game?
Absolutely. I mean, I was at the downtown Las Vegas Event Center, and you're up 3-0 in the third.
Yeah. What was going on with
well, I mean, you guys have probably, this has been belabored probably more than any certainly more than any game in Golden Knight history. But you're up 3-0 in the third, and then boom, you get a call, you penalize an outcome, you call it a major, and then also remember what was critical. The moment that call got made, my guys internally were like, "Oh man, we're in trouble. We're in trouble." we all said that, and we said that because remember, Bellemare was not playing in that game,
correct?
And then
Cody leaves,
and then Eakin getting tossed.
Right,
you're talking 2 critical guys on your penalty kill, and you got to fade 5 minutes, and then boom, they scored. Pretty quickly in that first minute. Like, oh, here we go.
If you don't mind me asking, did you have action on Game 7?
You know what? We had. I'll be honest. I did not, and the reason I didn't was because there's nothing I could do. There was no bet I could make that was going to be more or less significant on the win or the loss of the game. I mean, for us, the number of hotel room nights that we lost, the number of the amount of casino play and everything else. I mean, I'm not going to go out and bet $5,000 on a game when the impact of the game is a 6-figure number. So
that's what I was going to ask you.
For me, that's why I can't answer the elements with regards to Bill Foley and the players and how that those deals get cut up. But I can just tell you, for us, I went in, I was all in on rooting for the Golden Knights, and I mean the economic impact to us was a 6-figure number. So yeah, I'm not gonna be betting $100 on who's going to score the first goal.
So you always have money on the games in that sense.
I mean by not making a bet, we got a huge bet. We absolutely have a huge bet.
What was the atmosphere like at your party down there at the event center? What was it like? I mean, because I'm watching the game with some friends, with Chris and a few other friends. We were stunned. We were speechless. We couldn't believe. As you have, I've been watching hockey my whole life, right? I've never seen anything like that before in my life. That was unbelievable. I mean, what is going through your mind, and what is going through the mind of all the people downtown when that took place?
Yeah, I mean, the guys that are on my group text, I mean, these are all hockey guys from Darren Banks, who played in the NHL, Chris Wilberding, who's a host, Mike Palms, our VP of operations, Dave Tell, our COO, and we're like, we're in trouble. I mean, when you call a 5-minute major, in the old days, you might have these double majors, and you play short, or you played even strength. But when you call a 5-minute major and this occurred on the road, all of a sudden you open the door and the momentum swung. The first goal, I think there were a handful of people that didn't really realize that potentially the Golden Knights were going to be in trouble in the next couple of minutes, and then boom, and there was like a lot of oh my gosh. So I mean, it went from high to frustrated to screaming at the 72-foot screen, going down 4-3, and then this moment of unbelievable euphoria coming back, when they tied at 4-4 when Marchessault scored the goal. So then then we go to intermission, and I think everyone was a little bit of bewilderment, and some people thought, okay, this was just perfect. We won this game. We finally came back. We're going to win in overtime. And yet, on a Game 7 going to overtime, you never know what you're going to get. And man, for me, growing up in Detroit, I got to see a lot of crazy endings of series. So I was just thinking to myself that no matter what happens in this first overtime period, this overtime period will be talked about for decades.
Sure. So last question about this, then I want to move on to your new sports book that's going to be opening up in 2020, which is awesome. So you've just admitted you lost 6 figures easy. I'm just going to guess. Let's just say you lost a couple $100,000. I would imagine it could even be more than that, but let's just assume that. NHL apologizes. They apologize to the Vegas Golden Knights. If you were sitting across from Gary Bettman right now, and you explained to him how much money you cost the city, how much money costed you in particular, personally, like what would you say to him if Gary Bettman was sitting here right now?
I'm more of a guy that looks forward. I mean, I've seen bad beats. I've participated when I bet, and I've seen some bad beats. San Jose got the benefit of the deal. Who would have thought 2 years ago San Jose would have been such a great rival? I think everybody kind of thought it was going to be either Anaheim or L.A. But boy, we got a great rival now.
Sure.
San Jose came back, and I kind of look at it. You can't give up 4 goals and a power play. That's the way. The chips fell. So yeah, it's frustrating. But the key thing is, you got to pick yourself back up and you got to move forward.
Speaking of moving forward, why don't we talk about something that's a little more, that's depressing, okay? That's depressed. The Knights should be in the playoffs. Let's move on to something that is pretty exciting, Derek, and it is the fact that you are opening up. This is pretty big news here. You're opening up what they are saying will be the world's biggest sports book in 2020, right? Do I have that right? This is really exciting. World's biggest sports book. That in itself is incredible. Talk to us a little bit about this, your vision, when this started, and the fact that you've been approved for this. This is a pretty exciting time for you.
Yeah, well, let me give you a little rewind, though, for a little backstory on this. When I bought the Golden Gate in 2008, we didn't have a sports book, but I always wanted to be in the sports business. But at the Golden Gate, we just wouldn't have had enough volume. So then when I bought Fitzgerald's in 2011, we rebranded it the D in 2012. We really thought about, well, can we get in the sports business? And I still thought we would not have had enough volume between our 2 brick-and-mortar locations on Fremont. But a couple things happened. One, the use of apps and betting on your phone. So no longer the brick-and-mortar is the critical element. We knew by 2000 and I'd say 15 that we were going to get into it. When we expanded the Golden Gate, I kind of built a little false wall. Everyone's going to see this in the next couple of weeks when we take this wall down, and because we're opening June 1st of this year, so we're opening in just a few weeks. So we always knew we were going to get into this into the sports business. So now that we've been approved, we're going to open up at the Golden Gate at 8 a.m. on Saturday, June 1st. Couple weeks later, we're going to give William Hill a little bit of time to transition. We're going to renovate that sportsbook area at the D on the second floor and the bar up there. So we'll open up at the second floor at the D about the middle of June, and then it's really a lot of it's all predicated with the new project we're building across the street, Circa Las Vegas, and that's where we're going to build this. Huge sportsbook.
Yeah, and I want to get into details.
Huge. Okay, huge means when you say, I mean, we've had Superbooks, we've had, I remember when Caesars opened its book, and it was the largest in the world. Then, of course, the Westgate, the Hilton/Westgate International, opened its sportsbook. It's Superbook. It's the largest in the world. Okay, how big? How can we picture that? A size of football field.
Sounds like a mega book.
I don't know.
It's a mega book.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see is, I'm a big fan of the first time I walked into the Las Vegas Hilton to do the Superbook, and I'm a big fan the first time I walked into the Caesars Palace book and such. What we're going to do is we're going to create a wow moment, and our book is going to be basically 3 levels. So we're going vertical as well as having some sizable room in there. It'll be the largest screen in sportsbook history, and 3 levels. Just a few things I got to keep under wraps here, but it's going to be the wow moment that I think it's going to want to bring people to come to Las Vegas to bet sports. I'm a big fan of sports wagering in Vegas, and I think Vegas is still going to be the hub for the country for sports wagering, and right within our location downtown, we're going to be located right within 100 feet of the Nugget, the William Hill, the Plaza, the Boyd properties. So I think this will be the epicenter.
Let me give out the number. It's an opportunity to ask Derek Stevens a question if you live here in Las Vegas or just outside of Las Vegas and you're a big fan of the D. Derek in studio right now, of course, the owner of the D. We're talking about Circa, the sports book. It will be the biggest sports book in the world. The number to call if you want to be a part of this conversation and ask Derek a question, feel free to give us a buzz at 257-5396. Again, that number if you want to be a part of the show, 257-5396. JD, you had a question for Derek? Go ahead.
So you say that on June 1st, is the brand for all the sports books Circa then?
That's correct. So the name of the new project that you see going up on Fremont Street is called Circa Las Vegas. That's going to be the new hotel, resort, casino. But our sports brand will be called Circa Sports.
Circa Sports.
And that's what opens June 1st at Golden Gate, middle of June at the D. That also opens June 1st with our app. And on June 1st, or slightly before June 1st, we're going to announce our football contest, which we're pretty fired up about.
That's awesome.
More minus 105 lines. What's your competitive advantage, do you believe, as the new sports book?
Well, I think a couple things that we're going to kind of really focus in on. We're going to be very, very aggressive in some areas that I've enjoyed participating in over the years. And one area is we're going to be very, very aggressive in futures. I think that the amount of customer demand and enjoyment of futures is terrific, but I think we could do something a little bit better. We will become very, very aggressive on futures. We are going to allow people to parlay futures between sports. We are going to put out some we think we're going to be very aggressive on some of the pricing.
So I like that. So hypothetically, I could for next year bet on the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA championship
and the Patriots,
and I can parlay
and
those
Bama.
Together. That's a pretty good payout. That's kind of exciting. Actually, I like that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some of these correlated geographical correlated plays. Cubs, Blackhawks, Cubs, Bears.
Right. Homers for days.
Yeah, things like that. and with people that come to Las Vegas, and I've gotten to see this because we see so many tourists. I mean, downtown now the second most visited tourist destination in America. That people may not be able to come to Vegas more than once a year. But they might, Detroit guy, He may want to bet the Lions next year. He may want to bet the Pistons the year after. Now, I'm giving the extreme example. I agree. Everybody's shaking their heads. I'm giving the extreme example.
You make a future bet on the Lions every month. Don't lie about it.
Okay, now Iserman's the new GM of the Red Wings, so you got to go look at the Red Wings, watch them rise. I'm just saying.
You're right. I mean, yeah, Detroit's seen a little bit with some of that excitement, some of the young guys at Iserman coming in. But I think the parlay of futures is something that we're going to put out there, and like I said, we're going to be real aggressive on the pricing, because I think futures are something that people love to get that ticket and carry that around.
Let me ask you this, Derek: as sports wagering expands across the United States, will you consider expanding circus sports with it?
Well, I think right now the answer would tell you to tell you the truth would be I don't know, and the reason I don't know was because the uncertainty level is huge. And I think in the next couple of years it'll pair out. I mean, if we get a standardized set of statutes and regulations, the answer to the question would be yes.
Right.
But you think about, like, look what happened just yesterday. Look what happened in Montana. I mean, these are some really goofy rules. Yeah. Okay, so in Montana, the whole state can put out one line. It's governed by the Lottery Commission, and you have to be sitting inside of a restaurant, geolocated inside a legal restaurant to do it.
Idiotic.
That's kind of crazy to me. And the governor even said Montana wants to move into sports betting very, very slowly. So that's a rule set and regulation set that we would not be interested in, and I really don't think anybody's going to be interested in.
No.
Then you take a look at what's happened in Tennessee. This is equally bizarre. That you could bet online anywhere in the state, but they still don't know where to fund. There's no brick and mortar, and the tax rate is so high that you would not be able to put out a competitive line. And I just don't know that having to put out lines at both sides minus 125 just to be able to cover the tax. I think most of the bookmakers outside of where Tennessee plays are going to be just fine, because there's nobody going to be. I think there's a design flaw in that. Every state's coming out with these different rules and regulations. Sure. So I think until things settle down, we're going to hold off and focus in on Las Vegas and really in Nevada. But let's see what happens. This is the Wild West right now when it comes to sports betting.
Absolutely,
He is Derek Stevens, the owner of the D, talking about Circa, the new sports book over there that's going to be opening up in 2020. It will be world's biggest sports book, and we are taking your calls at 257-5396. Again, that number, if you want to be a part of the program, that number 257-5396, an opportunity to talk to Derek Stevens, owner of the D. Why don't we start off with Chuck? Chuck, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. You're on with Derek. How are you?
Yeah, great show, guys. All of you.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. Like, I live downtown, but it's like a pain in the butt parking. Is it going to be extra parking, ample parking, easy parking?
Well, Chuck, I can tell you, I don't know you, but I don't know if this was a setup question or not. But what goes along with the Circa Las Vegas Hotel and Casino Resort, we're also integrating, I would say, a world class parking facility. We're actually naming it. It's going to be the downtown central hub for ride sharing, so for Ubers, Lyfts, cabs, things like that. But above it, it'll be a world class parking garage. It's named Garage Mahal, and it will be the best parking. Best parking facility in Las Vegas.
Chuck, would you agree? It's not what's it called now? Not the Quad. What's that casino called now? Where the Ferris wheel is. I'm drawing a blank.
The Link.
Oh, the Link.
I apologize. The Link. I'm just gonna. It's nothing to do with Derek. I'm just saying me. It is the worst parking garage I've ever. It's like a maze.
No, it's the old Imperial Palace parking garage, which should have been blowed up.
Yes,
years
it was terrible.
ago. Bless you, Ralph Ingolstadt.
Yes.
At the time when you built that, it was nice.
Yeah.
But not anymore.
Yes,
it's
bad.
Yeah,
Chuck,
and they're going to do. Caesars will do something there eventually.
Chuck, you got anything else for Derek before we let you go?
I have all the phone apps and stuff, but I like the atmosphere of going in, and it's just been a pain in the butt in some places, just for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Chuck, I hope we see you at the Golden Gate on June 1st, and we'll get you signed up to the Circa Sports app.
There you go.
Ding,
the number to call 257-5396. Again, 702-257-5396. Let's talk quickly about this, Derek. It is the pool you're going to have there that can be up to 4,000 people at this pool, a 125-foot TV. The capacity is 4,000. Sounds to me like a pretty good venue for spring break or March Madness, right? I mean, this sounds like the perfect place to go to.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, one thing that I think a lot of people didn't really realize was that at the downtown Las Vegas Event Center, we really concept a lot, and I screw things up an awful lot. But when you think about when we've done the NFL watch parties, or we've done watch parties for the Mexican soccer team, and then obviously all the Golden Knights games. A lot of what we've done at the downtown Las Vegas Event Center is going to be transferred over into this new, basically outdoor aqua theater at Circa. It's going to be more like a theater because it's going to be tiered. We'll have 6 very, very large pools there, and we're going to have this massive, massive screen. And for those that have been to a watch party at the event center, I mean, this screen is 4 times that size, so it's pretty massive. And our thought process was that we've gotten to learn a lot with our outdoor venue at the downtown Las Vegas Event Center, and we're gonna take what we learned and implement it in this new environment.
Speaking of history, this is the first new construction. I shouldn't say the first, but it's a new construction of a casino. First time it's happened downtown since 1980. So it's been a very, very long time. Now here's a loaded question. I'm going to rewind a little bit because I wanted to ask you this. I alluded to it earlier. Like I said, Fitzgerald's was a dump, okay? It was not a fun place to go to. A lot of riffraff in there, and the casino just wasn't designed, wasn't run properly, okay? I'm sure you would agree. How the hell were you able to transcend it so quickly and make it so successful so quickly with such a great reputation?
Well, first, thanks. But there's no end game. I mean, you're always trying to get better. So the number one thing for me that I had the benefit of was being at the Golden Gate for 5 years. And it gave me the ability to build a team. I sometimes, when things go good, I get more praise than I feel I should. But the team we got is pretty relentless. We focus on trying to get better every day. We text each other on these group texts 24/7, and I think we learned a lot at the Golden Gate. And then, if I would have bought Fitzgerald's first, it certainly wouldn't have ended up the way it did. A lot of things in business and in life, you use your past experience, and what you do with the past experience, impacts your next move. So, right. I'm someone that likes to tell our guys, "Hey, man, we're gonna accelerate our experiences." Which means we're gonna try a lot of things. Some are gonna work okay, some are gonna be great, and some are gonna be colossal failures. But when we fail, the key thing is we learn from screwing something up,
right?
And then we make an adjustment. I would say we're very, very quick on adjustments, and I'd say the learning from the Golden Gate really helped us at the D to kind of accelerate a few things.
I should take your advice with my dating life because I don't. I need to learn from my mistakes. Go ahead, Ron.
Here's why I think that happens, and Brian sort of alluded to it at the top and talked about his favorite local casino owner, and you sort of smiled at that and said, okay, and I started rattling off the handful of great local casino owners that we still have in this valley. I'll go here for a second. I mean, the corporateness of MGM and Caesars on the Strip is what it is, but I love the resourcefulness and the personality and the fun of the local casino owners. You guys downtown that own Terry Cottle has casinos. I mentioned Kenny Epstein there,
Sure.
and you obviously with your properties. The local casino is still an old feel of Vegas that I absolutely love because you guys can be more resourceful and react quicker and do things.
That Lefty Rosenthal feel. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'll go there.
Let's take another phone call, 257-5396. Let's go to Joe. Joe, you're on with Derek Stevens. How are you?
What's up, Joe?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Doing good, Joe. What's on your mind? What do you want to ask Derek?
Well, I wanted to congratulate Mr. Stevens there. You guys have done a fantastic job. I met you when you guys first bought the Golden Gate. You came out to the cab stand. You introduced yourselves, shook hands, and gave us a chip each. And I still got that chip. And I'm happy to hear of your success building this next casino. I would like to just suggest that consider making that pool area, at least one of those pools, to be a heated pool, because there's a lot of folks that come into town in the wintertime, especially from up north, like Canada and stuff. They're like, man, all the pools are closed.
Well, you're right. Well, Joe, thanks for remembering that story. Yeah, I remember going out to all the cabs because I knew in Golden Gate, if I didn't have cabs bringing people in, I was in deep trouble. So I appreciate you bringing that comment up, and thanks for the kind words. With regard to your thought and idea with regard to a heated pool, I can tell you, you are right on the money. Out of our 6 pools, they're all going to be heated, but we are going to have a couple that are going to be heated year round. When a few people said, "Well, you can't heat them in January and December and whatnot," I'm like, "Oh, come on! They got pools that are heated out in ski resorts." So our pools are going to be open basically 365 days a year. We're going to have some great television screens for watching sports. We're going to have some great music system for the music. But our pools will be open 365 days a year. The only time they'll be closed is if we got a little bit of lightning. But we're open 24. It'll be not 24. So we'll be open 365 as far as the pool goes.
Yep. Joe.
That's awesome.
All right, Joe. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
There's also, from what I understand, a new video screen coming up for the Fremont Street experience. I love what Patrick Hughes is doing down there. I'll call him my buddy from with the Rampart when he was there, and got to know Patrick real well and love the Irishman, man. I love Patrick Hughes and what he's done there with Fremont Street experience, and now with the new video screen. From what I understand, right?
That's correct.
Overhang.
The construction on the new Viva Vision screen started 2 days ago.
Oh.
It'll be complete before New Year's Eve of this year. So, it's in process. And this is a great expansion and renovation for Fremont Street. And this will allow us to have shows, all day and all night. I mean, right now, the technology is currently in use, so only allows the screen to be utilized at night once the sun goes down. But technology's moved forward, and we're looking forward to this really high res screen that's being installed right now.
Derek, will there be a nightclub in Circle Las Vegas, and why or why not?
I'm gonna have a great sports book. We're gonna have this great outdoor pool aqua theater venue. We're gonna have a couple of pretty spectacular lounges, and personally, I'm a big nightclub fan, but I do not want to own a nightclub. I'm happy. I'm real happy going to Excess or Hakkasan or something like that.
It's a lot of stress, isn't it?
Well,
and it's huge overhead.
Stress.
And it's bad music. No, it's horrible music. The music in that song is horrible music.
These nightclubs, A, are very, very expensive to build. B, they are trendy. And in some ways that makes the investment a little bit more risky, and the competition level for the higher priced DJs is off the charts.
They pay them for that, for the stuff they put out. They actually get paid for that music they put out.
We're the wrong business. I mean, Marshmello just signed a 2-year deal for 60.
At the Palms, yeah.
A 2-year deal for 60.
It's crazy. Stevie Aoki. Let's go down the list.
But Las Vegas has totally messed up the entire DJ market for the rest of the country.
Derek,
Awful
explain this
music.
to me. And I'm 39 years old. I never got this music. I'm not saying it doesn't take any talent to make the music, but as far as these DJs go, help me out on this, guys.
They're sampling.
Okay?
They're stealing.
They're pressing buttons. Okay, the music is already there. They're not playing an instrument. They're in most cases they're not singing. Again, I'm not saying they're not talented, but when you go see when I go see a musician, okay, I want to hear them sing. I want to hear them play instruments. These guys are like Marshmello. All due respect to Marshmello, he puts on that Marshmello outfit. He's a talented guy. He makes great music.
He has a great brand.
But when you see him, he's pressing buttons and jumping up and down like a 10-year-old. To me, that's just not fun for me. Am I old in saying that? I don't get it, guys.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm a big fan of live music. I'm a big fan of, but I'm going to stand up and say I'm a big fan of the DJs as well. It is stunning though to get a 2-year deal for 60 when we start thinking about what Theo Fleury is currently making, or what Marcia Show's getting.
Yeah,
then you start thinking what did Bryce Harper get? I mean, a massive contract,
right?
But still, Marshmello got 60 for 2.
Must be some tasty marshmallows. I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to ask Derek, I don't know, can you stick around for a few more minutes? Is that
Sure.
cool? I appreciate it. We're talking with Derek Stevens, the owner of the D, talking about Circa. World's biggest sportsbook will be opening up in 2020. I want to ask Derek some of the relationships he's had because of being the owner of the D, some of the celebrities that are in and out of that place, and some of the relationships you've had over the years. I'd love to talk to you about that. We'll also take some phone calls at 257-5396. Again, that number to call, 257-5396. Ron Futrell in studio with Chris Wynn. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Stake on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Stake. Sharp and Shapiro. Ron Futrell in studio from Channel 8. Chris Wynn here as well. Ken Thompson just rolling into the studio saying how much he loves Derek Stevens. I think Ken wants to take you, Derek, on a date. That's what it sounded like to me. I don't know. But anyway, Ken's a good guy. He does a show after us, and he's right.
A sports betting date.
Sports betting
if
date,
there's
yes.
such a thing.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. So one thing I didn't ask you about was the Kentucky Derby. I would imagine, the ending was completely insane, but what was the atmosphere like at the D for that thing?
Yeah, we do because we don't have our own book yet, so we kind of do our own thing where we put all the televisions at Long Bar on the Derby, the entire casino, both floors. We run the audio from about 5 minutes before post through the race, and we've done this every year. So anyway, the race, everyone's coming around, and you come around the final turn, everybody's just you just hear the excitement, just like you do in any sports book, and then boom, down the stretch they come, okay, and then you think you got the favorite ends up winning, but then they didn't post, and then 40 seconds or so into it, I looked at our vice president Mike Palm, and I'm like, what we got an issue here. And then all of a sudden, 1 minute, 2 minutes. And then obviously the longer they kept looking at it, we were wondering, okay, here we go. Well, the entire casino's got no damn audio other than what they're showing, on television. So then we start making fun of, like, look at this, for the horse racing industry, this is not good for a lot of reasons. Because for me, everybody's coming up and asking me, hey, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And I said, listen, I am not the guy. I don't know the rules well enough. Obviously, you take a horse and it goes from the rail to jump into the 4 or 5 spot. Yeah. Everybody gets knocked over. But I said, I don't know the rules, so I don't know. But just because I own the casino, everybody assumes I know every damn rule in horse racing, and I don't. So We're sitting there watching, and the time goes by. The second thing that everyone was frustrated. The second thing that really, I think, hurt the horse racing industry was what's the name of the steward? Is it Barbara Bombard, or the woman that was in the steward's office?
That I'm not sure.
Yeah, in that little room there, looking at the video screens. In a little room, and on this they
$1 billion decision.
They were clearly not prepared.
Yeah,
on television, they're showing the paper towel on the little table to the left. They're showing the coffee cup to the right. The purse is underneath. There's a little bit of leftover lunch sitting over here. This was not the view.
Billions
that
of dollars.
You want every person that made a wager on the Kentucky Derby to see. This does not instill confidence, no matter what your.
So let me ask you a question. So I heard that somebody lost $10 million, and they spread that money around. They couldn't bet it in just one place. They spread it around. Lost $10 million on that decision. If you had a client in your casino, hypothetically, that lost $10 million, what would you say? What would you do for a gambler like that?
Put me on the spot. I guess probably get security just to hang around and make sure the guy's okay. You know what I mean? That number would be stunning. I didn't hear it. That's a big.
That's
number.
what I heard. I heard through the grapevine. He spread it around everywhere, and they're claiming it was somewhere around $10 million that this guy lost. I can't imagine what that 2 or 3 minutes was like for that guy.
It took 22 minutes for them to make that painstaking decision in that room that you so aptly described. Where's the Starbucks cup? I wanted and the trash can and all this. No, I thought the same thing when I saw them in that little room with the monitors, and I'm going, okay, they're making this decision, and ultimately, they made the decision, had to make a decision.
It was the right decision.
I don't know if it was. I don't know, on a wet track, and I'm going, and the only people that complained, the only horses, the owners of the horses that complained were the ones that weren't affected. Mm-hmm. They were not affected by the decision, other than that country barn horse house guy ended up winning the thing at 36 to 1 or something.
Yeah, no question.
65 to 1.
You know, the one thing that I do think it did impact the rest of Las Vegas. Vinny Maiulo made a point that by not having the favorite win, it impacts the churn rate. And obviously, when you have a 65 to 1 horse that wins, you don't have that many people playing it. You don't have that many people that have it in their exactas or in their trifectas, and that means you have a much smaller nominal number of people that are actually cashing a ticket. You're not going to, when the favorite wins, you're often going to get people that are going to jump right back in and start betting other games, other things, throughout the rest of the night. So I think that somewhat hurt Las Vegas. But more importantly, the fact that neither horse is racing in a couple weeks that really hurts the 3 big weekends here in the spring.
Yeah, it hurts the sport. He is Derek Stevens, the owner of the D. If you'd like to ask him a question and give us a buzz, feel free. The number to call is 257-5396. Again, 702-257-5396. So, Derek, I don't really know what it's like to walk around in a casino that you own. The only thing that I own proudly is an 04 Hyundai Elantra. So, and I get into that car very proudly. But what is it? I mean, I guess this is a loaded question.
A little too proudly.
It's a nice Hyundai.
What is it like? I mean, you're in this great city that I know you love, as we all do in this room. I never want to leave this city. I love it here. I mean, what is it like to be as well known as you have become for turning that casino around, and now you got this great sports book that's going to be open up at Circa. You're just going to get more popular for that. I mean, I feel like the city really is embracing you, and they should, because what does it feel like for you to be able to be such a huge part of this community?
Well, I mean, when I first came here, this certainly wasn't necessarily the thought process, but when I bought into the Golden Gate, I wanted to see how well I liked the casino, hotel, gaming industry, and if I liked it, we wanted to keep growing. So my brother and I wanted to keep doing that. I'm glad that we were in downtown, and there's so many great entrepreneurs, on Fremont East and different businesses, attorneys, everything downtown that it gave me the ability to really meet a lot of people and get a great feeling of the fabric of the community, and for me, I feel very good about the fact that I've had the ability to kind of grow up over 12 years together downtown.
Right.
I mean, it's not really abrupt in any manner, but I mean, every day or every year, every quarter that goes by, you learn a little something, you meet some more new people, and you kind of grow upon that. So, I mean, what's it feel like? I mean, to be honest, I don't think I would have been ready to do this 15 years ago, but it's just kind of grown every single day, and I'm comfortable, and I love this business. I love this town, and I love the people that come into my joint every day. There's something special about people that walk into a casino in Vegas.
And you talk about the people that walk into your casino. I would imagine over time you've developed some relationships with some pretty prominent people, some famous people. Can you share some stories with us of people that you've met because of what you do for a living? Because I certainly have many myself from doing radio for 20 years, but I would imagine being the owner of the D, you've met some pretty famous people that you've hung out with. Do you have any fun stories that won't get anybody in trouble that you can share with us?
Yeah,
get people in trouble. No, get people.
No, that's one thing I learned a long time ago, that discretion's pretty important.
You don't have any Donald Trump stories? Donald Trump never walked into the D? Is that what you're telling us?
Man. No, I mean we get a lot of people that come in. I get the benefit of having this great Italian steakhouse called Andiamo. That's inside the D, so that brings a lot of people in. So we from actresses and athletes. Certainly, I got some favorites. I'll go with a few hometown guys. There's a couple of fellas that have been very very friendly to me, to all of our staff, to all of our customers. Alex Tuck is a pretty special guy. Shea Theodore is also a pretty special guy. Ironically, the first year those two guys were roommates, but now they've got houses right next to each other.
They can afford to move out of the not have a roomies.
So I would say those two guys have been terrific, and obviously all the different executives that come in from around the NHL. We do a lot with the road teams. So it helps that Darren Banks, I think, has played with every single team he's played with a coach or a coach's kid in his career, because he played on about 20 teams. So every single time there's a road team, he invites the coaches over, the players over. So we've had a lot of fun in the hockey world.
Of course, Derek, you are a native Michigander, as I am, and we're well aware of a lot of us here in Las Vegas and kind of how that has transpired with people out here. But Ron brought up, of course, all the proprietors and people who are faces of their properties. And what's unique about your property, Derek, is that, of course, your Hotel the D is themed after Detroit, right? I mean, there's a lot of Michigan paraphernalia around, a lot of memorabilia, Detroit stuff. So I just kind of I was interested in what's that like to be someone who posts up at the end of the long bar there and has an opportunity to hang out with a lot of people, frankly, from Michigan that frequent that place because they're so happy and they enjoy the fact that they can go to a place that has a theme that brings up thoughts of back home.
Yeah, I think when I used to come out to Vegas 25 years ago, there's a lot of junkets that used to fly out here, and a couple joints really catered to Detroit people. Riviera was one of them, but it's not here anymore.
No, it's gone.
So the
Center.
one thing we tried to do is we wanted to have Andiamo, American Coney Island, and really the key thing, with the Detroit sports teams, whether it's the Pistons, Lions, Red Wings, Tigers, or the Spartans or Wolverines, want to make sure that the game's on. So when people come in and they're a fan of one of those teams, we just want to make sure the game's on. Not always with audio, but many times with audio, and you can't always get that. There's so many teams out there. You can't always get your hometown game. Detroit's a pretty big sports town, but and Cleveland is, and others. But think about if you're a big sports fan. Let's just say from Columbus, or a big sports fan, until recently, of the Milwaukee Bucks. Good luck trying to find them on a television. Now obviously the Bucks are going to be on, but I'm just saying, 5 years ago, it's not that easy to find a Bucks game on or a Columbus Blue Jacket game on television. So we just want to make sure we made everybody from that area feel comfortable.
Is it annoying when people bring up the movie Casino and ask you, hey, did you like that movie, Lefty Rosenthal, when you see these stories of people that are cheating in casinos and then they get their hands cut off or whatever? Is it annoying when people bring that up? And what do you think of that movie? Because I'm going to bring it up.
It was just a vice. It wasn't cut off. It was just to put it up. Tony the Ant put it in the vice and then put that.
What do you think of Casino? Did you like the movie or like what?
It's funny. It's really funny that you asked that because I saw it when it came out.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it again. And then,
really?
And people come up to me and ask me, hey, like in that movie Casino, all the time. So much so that I just recorded it. I watched about a half hour of it the other day. So I actually know the scene that you're talking about. Yeah. But I think things are I think that goes back in some really ancient Vegas history. Not quite the way it is anymore.
Do you still have people walking into your casino? I know this isn't probably something that you'd want to publicize, but every casino has to deal with people that are trying to exploit the system, that are trying to cheat the casinos. Do you still have people like that walking into your casino that are doing things like that?
Okay, now I'm gonna interview you.
Okay.
How many people do you think walk into our casino thinking they're going to lose?
None.
Well, people are stupid, so probably a lot of people feel that way, I would imagine.
Everybody walks in. Everybody. That's the good thing. I think everybody walks in.
They want to have a good time.
They feel they're going to win, and I think that's a good thing. It's hopeful, and I think sometimes what people don't fully comprehend if you're not a gambler. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people, if they're not a gambler, say, "Oh, everybody loses a casino." That's not absolutely
true.
Not true.
That's not true. You have about a 2 to 5% advantage on most games.
You've got a lot of people every night that whether they're a slot player, they hit a jackpot. Whether they're a table player, they you just catch it. You just catch the right time. There's a lot of people that win, and thank God there are, because if there weren't, nobody would ever come back.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Brian hits royal flushes basically every 2 weeks on video poker. So I'm gonna ask a couple of sports questions. So the Rio was apparently just sold to the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. Is that correct?
If that's the case, that's a breaking news clip to me.
I didn't know that.
I don't have any knowledge.
That was the rumor that I heard. Do you think that Las Vegas will have Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NFL, and the NHL in the next 4 years. And would you be interested in bringing one of those teams or being part of bringing one of those teams to Las Vegas?
Well, I think 5 years ago nobody would have thought we would have one team, let alone two coming. I've always been a believer that a major impact sport for this town would be baseball. When I was involved in and owned the Las Vegas 51s for 6 years, I always thought that baseball could be a huge impact sport, and a lot of that has to do with the quantity of games, and baseball season is during really the slowest period for Las Vegas, and obviously you can't play. I mean, I spent a lot of days watching games at Cashman Field, and you can't play outside at a major league level. But there are some great stadiums. I mean, look what Milwaukee did. Look what they've got in Phoenix.
Right.
I mean, you can have a great baseball park in the desert in 120 degrees, but it's cool inside. So I think baseball has the ability to really impact the city, just because, if the Las Vegas baseball team had a 3-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals, boy, oh boy, what an impact that would have in the city. Against the Cubs, against the Giants, against the Dodgers, against every team. I mean, if you've got so many baseball fans that travel and they pick one road trip a year that they want to do with their family or they want to do with their buddies. They're going to go somewhere. Who isn't, going to go visit the new ballpark? Because you've got the ballpark chasers and ballpark visitors. Who is not going to want to put that, on their their checklist? Whether you're a Rays fan, a Red Sox fan, Yankees fan, I mean, everybody's going to want to come check it out. So I think the impact on the city with the number of room nights and the amount of additional spend, the amount of jobs that would be created in the city, I think baseball would be a huge impact.
I agree. We only have a few more minutes left to go here. We're here with Derek Stevens. Since you played such a big role with the 51s, you're the perfect question to ask. What do you think about the new ballpark that the Aviators have right next to Red Rock?
I haven't been out there yet, so I've been hanging out downtown. So, from all the pictures I've seen, it looks terrific. What
was that like being involved with that ball club?
It's interesting. I'm glad I bought it. Glad I sold it. Mm-hmm. Minor league baseball's really not. There's really no comparison to major league sport.
Right.
Minor league baseball, you don't get to really market the players and such. You have to market events. Yeah. So it's dollar beer night. It's fireworks Friday, T-shirts Saturday. You're marketing. You're not really marketing who you're playing against. Mm-hmm. On a rare occurrence, you might have a hot young first round draft pick pitching, or you might have a big leaguer coming down for a rehab. But it's a different deal than major league.
Also, I'll tell you what's going to be nice downtown too is this week Brett Lashbrook is going to be taking over the city, and him now with the soccer team there.
Right.
With the lights, is going to be taking over Cashman Field down there.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what he does, and he's going to make some changes there and build some more stands there and do some special events there, even more so than what they've got. That affects all of downtown.
Oh, no question. One more question. What does Derek Stevens do on a fun night out on a night off in Las Vegas? That's what I've wanted to ask you. Where do you, besides your casino, all your great restaurants and everything you got going on?
Shapiro show. Yeah, that's what he.
No, he definitely doesn't want to do that. Definitely. But what are your hot spots in Vegas? Like, what do you do for fun?
Well, I mean, you can ask my wife this one, but I can tell you what we do. We designed a joint that we want to be at. I mean, when we don't have something going on, I'll be either at the Golden Gate or the Long, but I love it. I mean, we designed something, and I don't want to really say too much of it, crazy about it, but we designed a joint that we love, and we love being around sports and people and all that, and where else would you want to be than in Vegas?
I don't disagree. You've done a phenomenal job. You will continue to do a phenomenal job. Congratulations, Derek, on all your success. The new sports book that's going to be opening up in 2020, we would absolutely Love to have you on again, and we appreciate your time. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks. Hopefully we get a lot of people coming in and seeing us June 1st at the Golden Gate. We're ready to roll.
Absolutely. I will continue to plug that for you, and congratulations on all your success. Well, I should probably plug this too. Michael Avenatti on Fox News, they call him the creepy porn lawyer. He is going to be joining us tomorrow. That will be an interesting interview. My thanks to Derek Stevens. My thanks to Ron Futrell, Chris Wynn in studio. We will catch you same time, same place tomorrow. The legend himself, Ken Thompson, coming up next. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on the Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN.